Hope y'all come out and enjoy this beautiful weather out here. Very beautiful out here on the East Coast. But again, I appreciate y'all for watching. Hope y'all having a great Thursday. Got one more day if you got a work week. One more day, Friday, and then you can relax for the weekend if you off on the weekends. But anyways, I want to talk about traditions. A lot of us was born in different religious traditions. Some we still keep, and some we try to get away from. But the thing is, traditions, it really locks us in because we have a lot of memories as far as traditions. We have memories of our parents, especially parents that have been deceased. We have memories of, certain moments that we never forget in our lifetime. What's up, Toaster 2.0? We have memories that we never forget in our lifetime, that stick with us. Doing good, Toaster. We have memories that stick with us. And so I understand why people, they get caught up in tradition. They get caught up in stuff like that. Okay, cool. Appreciate you for being in here. Appreciate you for coming through. But we get stuck in certain traditions that we feel like, we can't get out of, But, it's understandable. You have memories, of your parents. You have memories of certain holidays, that you celebrate. And, you give toys and stuff like that. I have memories of certain traditions that, I was growing up in. How you doing, Guil, Hermie, Braga? Yeah, I have certain memories of when I was younger, memories that I have of certain traditions that me and my family have kept. And so I understand it's hard to, get past, certain traditions that you've had, in the past. And that's very, very understandable, very understandable. Okay, cool. You from Brazil? Cool. How you doing, Barbara from Hungary? But yeah, we have certain traditions. Are you from Georgia? No, I'm from the South, but I'm not from Georgia. White Lightning. I'm from VA. But yeah, we have certain traditions that we keep throughout our life that, it has ties with certain memories that we have. The question is if we know the truth about certain religions and certain beliefs, will we stop these certain traditions because we learn the truth about a lot of these different religions and different beliefs. A lot of Christians, they may change the name of these traditions because they know the truth about the religions, but at the same time it's hard to really still stop these religious beliefs and stuff like that. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. Again, appreciate you for watching. But yeah, like I said, it's certain traditions that's hard to it's hard to stop, even though even though we know the truth about, even though we learn the truth about these certain holidays, uh, certain traditions, it's hard for people to stop. And I understand, you have family memories, locked in with these certain traditions. And, it takes, if you know the truth about certain things, about certain traditions, and it's not the biblical thing to do, it's easy for a person to say, oh, you should stop doing it. But it's harder for the person on the other side to stop those traditions because they've grown up in those traditions. So, yes, it's a difficult thing for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's very difficult. I'm sorry, because you're a stranger. I don't want to repeat what you say, but Barbara, I don't know you, so I'm not going to repeat those words. But anyways, yeah, it's traditions is crazy. Traditions are crazy. Traditions are very, I wouldn't say crazy, but they're very powerful. Especially when you get a certain age. You still keep certain traditions. You keep certain traditions that you have grown up in. And you may learn the truth later on, but some things you learn over time. You learn, you, like me, I've learned a lot of things about traditions, but I feel like it's a time and place for you to confront people. Well, I wouldn't say confront, but show people the truth that you've learned about certain traditions, religious traditions. I think it's a time and place for everything. Even the Bible that people believe in, it says there's a time to do, everything. It's a time to do everything. And so it's a certain time to really tell people what you believe as the truth, even if they don't want to accept it or not. As we approach, I know religious people approach the Easter, Easter. It's things you should know about Easter. Easter is used to be called Ishtar, which was a mother goddess all the way back from the Babylonian times. Semiramis. It had so many different names. Depending on the country or where it was from. And so it was different names. It was different names. But it used to be called Ishtar, based off of the mother goddess, Ishtar, the queen of heaven. Also, that's in the Bible as well. How she was the mother of fertility. And so later on, the Romans changed it to Easter. And the word Easter is in the Bible as well. So, but the Easter they celebrated was different. The Easter they celebrated was different. It wasn't celebration of Jesus Christ, because if you look in the Bible, I think King Herod celebrated this thing called Easter, and so it just gotta study traditions that we have. That's why we have rabbits, we have eggs, because it represents fertility. And so that's where Easter, comes from, and a lot of people don't know because they're stuck in tradition. They're stuck in what they've learned. They've grown in to Easter egg hunts and stuff like that they grew up in. And it's understandable. We've all been indoctrinated into certain religious beliefs. some is hard to stop and some is hard, you know, it's hard to let go. It's hard to let go. But some, eventually, I feel like with the emerge of technology, we can go back even further as far as time, as far as learning new things about what happened in the past. We are more accessible to knowledge. We have YouTube, we have Google, we have all types of different accesses these days to learn so much about religion, about traditions that we uphold. We learn about the Christmas tree, we learn about the Easter egg. It's a lot of things, as far as Easter that we should learn. And I think it's nothing wrong with learning new things, about Easter and stuff like that. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. Just wanted to talk about that. We're getting into Easter, and a lot of people don't really know why a lot of these holidays are associated with fictional characters. Like we know that a bunny don't lay eggs. So it's like, why? We know that Santa Claus has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. So it's all traditions that was made by man. It was originally something else, and we tried to change it to a religious, thing. We changed it to a religious thing. So again, appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.